All right, good peoples. Let's get started. All right, what do I have? I have GDX and GDXY for you in this video. So what happened yesterday? Well, we kind of pulled back slightly, and that's good for our 38 and 39s, although we're up in gold a little 3 hours before the market opened. So we may start to run this week, especially with some of these earnings. So minus 0.58, right? Went from 38.17 to 37.95 on GDX. And we went from 1911 to 1904, so we're only down 0.37 of 1%. So kind of a win again when you're not really capped, although we were close with the 38 because we have 38 calls and 39 calls, right? And luckily, the bulk are the 39, so it gives us a little bit of breathing room. Um, there were not any shares added. Again, this isn't a super popular fund at this point, but I think people are going to see as gold wakes up here, has woken up, and now the gold stocks are actually starting to lead a little bit, which is exactly what we want. They've been thrown out in the trash. I mean, they literally been left abandoned. You had gold at an all-time high, and you had literally the precious miners at an all-time low relative to the price of gold. So that will change. Nothing remains the same, the old saying goes. Okay, so let's no shares added. Let's go look at the weekly. Here's that summary. 240, so barely 10%, a little over 10%. And now we're actually 13% or sorry, 0.13 of 1%, right? Because this was trading into 38s. So GDX, both of them went down, but a small amount. And this one with 39, I still think there's a chance we run by that this week, but we should make good money on the synthetic. I didn't really check the implied volatility, but I would think that it would be up based on the movement we've had. So how do we now look on those weeklies? And by the way, this is way up here, right? This is up at 38. So when it does something like this and it's already broken out, I'm not every day going to come in and update the chart. But when I see a pattern, I see something important, or I'm worried about a breakdown back on that resistance line, then I tend to update those. Okay, so that's our weekly. Let's take a look at the holding. So we had, I think, let's look at the synthetic first. So we have 2,505 written at the 37. So since we're in the high 37s, low 38s, any move up, we're going to be completely covered with the synthetic. We're going to make bank. We're going to make good money there. So I like that. I like to see us position like that. So what happened with this slight pullback, we went from having 393,000 in cash, right? Paper. Sorry, when I say cash, paper value, but literally all it takes is a sell order and we collect that cash. But there's no reason to at the moment. So that value went down to 325. It had been 365, 393. But look at this, just going back not too long ago, much different. So this has really started to move. So we're making more money. I think this was in the 20s or something. So it's nice to see these values drop, right? The 38 naturally is going to drop. And, if we close the week here, then yeah, it's such a small one. It really doesn't matter. This is the guy that matters, right? The 2265 because it's 90% of the contracts, 89%. So let's go take a look at a couple of other things here. Yeah, let's look at the value. So 1904 and they're saying fair value is 18.99. And again, the share count didn't move, right? 500,000, and our net assets are 94.96. So there's where we get the calculations that we get. So this is looking decent, but I have a feeling that we could get to 39. The real question is, do we blow right through it this week? We could. I think Newmont reports. I think some of the other top 10 may report this week, but I think more report next week. So that could be good. Let me see if there's something in here. Here's another thing. I like to do a little bit of this chart, and there's not a lot to update you on payouts, but I will. So here's SIL-J, right? So there's SIL and SIL-J, which are miners, have broken a 4-year structure and a weekly, right? This is going back to right around COVID, right? That's what this big dip is. This is exactly, I remember buying Nugget as if it was yesterday, down around $5 or something. And I wrote some calls when it ran up to 8 or 9, and it just flew up, right? This is SIL-J and not Nugget, but I didn't even give it enough room there, but I made like 50 cents in a week, or 50% in a week. But that's how these things move sometimes. And let's see if there's another one. I showed you this one before. This one's kind of nice. HUI is very similar to GDX. It's just an index of stocks, right? So this is showing out to 2029. So again, this is the kind of thing that these parallel lines have been holding ground here since 2000, which is right around when I started really playing the precious metals miners. Because if you look at that entire decade, gold and precious metals and commodities just roared. I mean, they outperformed the general equities, the NASDAQ and everything else. But what had just happened? The NASDAQ had just crashed, right? It proceeded to go from, 5,000 to 1,500. And it took it years to recover. So I'm anticipating a commodity bull run, but we're not quite done yet on the NASDAQ, right? The AI and the FOMO there. So, we could have a series of months ahead before there's a big sector change. But and there'll always be companies, your NVIDIAs will hang around. I think Palantir, there's a lot of good companies in general in the AI space that'll perform. But do I think the NASDAQ overall? No, I don't think over the next 7 or 8 years it's going to do all that great. But again, that's my opinion. I don't expect everybody to have the same opinion. That's what makes the world go around. All right, so let's cover the payouts and wrap this up. So I wanted to point this out, right? I thought I had this set up. Okay. So we have a $325,000 cash balance setting in our synthetic, which contributes about 65 cents based on the 500,000. So it's ugly right now. We got a 52-cent loss here, and we got an 84-cent total loss. But again, we've got 65 cents when we want to write. So if we keep moving up, we could run by the 39 and still be okay because we're going to make it all on the synthetics. It's not ideal. I kind of wish we'd run up to 40, high 39s, maybe pull back, finish right at, 39 and keep the bulk of the synthetic or of the weeklies. So that's what I got for you on this. Again, I'm bullish going forward on gold. I'm bullish going forward on BTC. And I certainly like some of the tech stocks. But I don't just love the NASDAQ. I don't see the NASDAQ going up another 4x or 6x from where it is. I think we could be topping in 3 to 6 months or something, But I'm not negative on that. I'm going to play it till the charts tell me it's no longer going up. So I'm in a lot of things that I'm bullish on. I'm bullish on Tesla. I'm playing more outside Tesla than I am on Tesla, although I do own Tesla and get some income. I just think there's some better ways to play it because I think it's got a lot of bullish ahead of it. Okay, guys, that's what I got. I'll let you go. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Have fun. This was for entertainment. Have a great trading day, work day, whatever the rest of this week's brings. Okay, bye for now.